Bro, she doesn't fall for what you say. She doesn't stay because you're the nicest guy she's ever met. She won't be loyal to your money, your romantic texts, or the thousand things you do just to keep her around, and that truth alone is enough to break most men. Because most men were taught the opposite. Be kind, be available, be supportive, show her you care, always listen, never forget a date. And for a while, it feels like it's working. She smiles, she texts back, she even tells you how sweet you are. But slowly, you feel her energy shift. She takes longer to respond, she stops initiating. Something goes cold, and you can't explain why. You did everything right, didn't you? But the truth is, it's not about doing things right, but about being the man who stirs something inside her she can't shake. Not the man who performs for love, but the man who dares to stay grounded even when she pulls away, the man who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't start chasing the second her tone changes, who doesn't lose himself trying to keep her happy. A woman doesn't stay because you're perfect. She stays because something about you challenges her, makes her feel, keeps her on edge in the best way. Not through games or manipulation, but through your unshakable presence. Your stillness, your refusal to be emotionally whipped around by every wave she throws. She needs to feel you can handle her, not just when she's soft, but especially when she's fiery, distant, moody, or emotional. Most guys fail there. The second her energy changes, they panic. They start double texting, over-explaining, apologizing for things they didn't even do, trying to fix what was never broken, and in doing so, they show her that their confidence was never real. It was conditional. She can sense that in your energy, she can feel when your affection is just a mask for insecurity. She knows when your compliments are laced with fear. She hears it in your tone, sees it in your eyes, reads it in your hesitation. And no matter how much she says she wants a kind man, her body will always crave a man who leads. That's the paradox. She'll ask for stability, but her soul craves polarity. She'll say she wants honesty, but she'll test you the moment you offer it. She'll tell you she needs safety, and then poke every part of your ego just to see what happens when things feel unsafe. And if you collapse, if you fall into pleasing her just to keep the peace, if you start moving based on her moods instead of your mission, you lose her. Not because she's cruel, not because she enjoys seeing you struggle, but because she needs to feel your edge. She needs to feel your fire. She needs to know that the man she's choosing isn't just sweet, he's solid. That he doesn't need her validation to feel like a man. That he can love her without becoming her emotional servant. And that only happens when you stop reacting, when you stop needing to explain every decision you make, when you stop giving her a report of your day like you're asking for permission to breathe. The more you explain, the more you shrink. The more you try to make her feel comfortable at the cost of your own truth, the more she stops feeling you as a man. You want to know what actually moves her? It's presence. That calm, still energy that doesn't shift just because she's pulling away. The kind of energy that says, I see you, but I'm not chasing you. I care, but I'm not abandoning myself to keep you close. That's the kind of man who gets remembered. That's the kind of man she dreams about when she's lying next to someone else who does everything right. She'll test that again and again. Sometimes it's subtle, a delayed reply, a sarcastic jab, a distant tone. Other times, it's obvious, a full-on emotional storm. And in those moments, everything in you will want to fix it, explain yourself, win her back with logic. But if you're grounded, you won't flinch, you won't raise your voice, you won't beg for peace. You'll stay rooted in who you are, not who she wants you to be in that moment. That's where real attraction lives. Not in your money, not in your good looks, not in your romantic gestures. It lives in your energy, in your ability to be unmoved by chaos, in your quiet strength, in your refusal to compromise your core just to be liked. She doesn't want a puppet. She doesn't want someone who agrees with everything she says just to avoid conflict. She wants a man who challenges her without disrespecting her, who brings emotional depth without losing his masculine edge, who can hold her without holding back his truth. And that's where most men get it wrong. They think being vulnerable means pouring their heart out every 5 minutes. They think being open means becoming emotionally dependent. But true vulnerability is owning your truth without needing it to be accepted. It's standing tall in your emotions without needing her to carry them for you. It's expressing your desires without apologizing for them. When a man lives from that space, he doesn't chase, he doesn't perform, he doesn't try to impress. He simply is. And that presence alone creates more attraction than any bouquet of roses or sweet text ever could. Women remember how you made them feel, not what you did. You could buy her everything she ever asked for. You could show up every day on time, say all the right things, plan the perfect date nights, and still be forgotten, still be replaced, still be left on read. But make her feel deeply, make her feel safe and seen while still keeping your mystery, make her feel challenged in a way that awakens her. Now you've got her heart. Not because she chose it, but because her soul did. So stop trying to win her with perfection. Stop trying to be the guy who never messes up, who always knows what to say. Be the man who owns his flaws, who isn't afraid of being misunderstood, who isn't afraid of silence, who doesn't need constant validation to feel like he's enough. Because when she sees that you don't flinch under pressure, that you don't fold when things get emotionally intense, that's when she starts trusting you. That's when she knows you're real, and that's when loyalty begins. She's not asking you to be her therapist. She's not looking for a clone of her best friend. She wants to feel something raw, something alive, something that reminds her she's with a man, not just someone who wants to please her. That's why the bad boys get remembered. Not because they're toxic, but because they're unapologetically themselves. Because they carry a boldness, a chaos, a fire that most men bury beneath politeness and approval seeking. You don't need to become toxic. You just need to stop being afraid of your own fire. Let it burn. Let it challenge her. Let it light something inside her that she didn't know she was missing. Because at the end of the day, she won't love you for what you did. She'll love you for what you stirred inside her. The emotions she felt in your presence, the security of your stillness, the edge of your truth. And if you ever forget that, just remember that you're not here to chase love. You're here to embody it. And the right woman? She won't need convincing. She'll feel it and she'll stay. And she'll stay, but only if you stay firm. Because the second you slip back into chasing, into proving, into earning, she senses it. She may not say it out loud. She might even appreciate it on the surface. But inside, something shifts. Her respect fades. Her trust in your masculinity weakens. And no matter how hard you try after that. See, love isn't about effort alone. It's about energy. It's about the way you show up. When a man walks into a room fully grounded, fully owning who he is, without the need to perform, posture, or impress, people feel it. Women feel it most, and they're drawn to it like gravity. Not because it's loud, not because it's flashy, but because it's real. So don't try to be that guy she's been dreaming about. Be the man who doesn't need to compete with anyone else because he's already competing with the man he was yesterday. That kind of energy, it's rare, it's masculine, it's attractive beyond words. And when she feels it, truly feels it, she doesn't want to test you anymore. She starts to soften, she starts to lean in, because now she knows she's finally found something solid. You don't have to tell her you're different. You just have to live it. You have to move like your time is valuable. You have to speak like your words matter. You have to love her without losing yourself. And you have to walk away if that love ever costs your self-respect. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a man can do is stop trying to convince her to stay, and instead become the kind of man she can't walk away from. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. That's not ego, that's the embodiment. And that's exactly what she's been waiting to feel. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.